What's up, guys? My name's William King Barnett, and with this, I'm hoping to, one, educate people on what autism is, and also what it isn't, to try and break some of the misconceptions and the stigma around autism, but also to try and help other autistic and neurodivergent people lead successful lives and live their best life and how to succeed in a neurotypical world. So for this first episode, I really wanted to start by defining what is autism, what is it, and what is it not? Well, autism is a developmental disability that deals with various skills, functioning skills, such as social skills, executive functioning skills, linear organization skills. It affects every way people see the world. This may also include thinking, physical movement, such as cognitive motor skills, socializing, communication, and just all daily living. Another thing to remember with autism is that autism is a spectrum. Some people function differently than others. We used to define high functioning and low functioning autism. These are terms that have been retired by the autistic community, but it is a spectrum, and some people function differently than others, and some people have greater challenges than autism, and autism affects some people a lot more than it does others. Some people process thinking faster or slower than others. All autistic people in general, I believe, have slower processing disorder. I know I do. It takes me longer to process things. It can take me longer to do the same tasks as everybody else. One thing to know, I'm very thorough with my tasks and the way I do things, and I'm very detail-oriented, and I imagine other autistics are as well. And that is one reason why it takes me and us longer to do things than other people, and why we also require more patience than other people. Another thing to know about me, and I assume other autistics as well, is I don't always get things on the first try. If you tell me something, my brain won't always absorb it the first time you say it. It might take some reinforcement for me to really get what you're saying, for it to really sink in. Some people are non-speaking autistics. Non-speaking autism is a thing. They just communicate a little differently. They don't use words. Now, what is autism not? Well, for one thing, it is not a disease. It cannot be cured. It is also not an epidemic like the media describes it. It is also not caused by vaccines. Parents, you definitely should not forego that measles vaccine because you're afraid it might give your kid autism. I assure you, it will not. If he does turn out to have autism after getting a vaccine, chances are he had it already. He or she, they. Jenny McCarthy might be hot. She is a walking wet dream, but that doesn't mean she's right. But of course she is hot, so naturally people listen to her when they shouldn't. Another thing to know about me, or autism as well, is I also struggle with strength regulation as well as voice regulation. I tend to be too hard on things, and I've broken things in the past by being too hard on them. I also tend to speak louder sometimes. I don't always realize that I am speaking louder. I always remember my mom telling me to William, lower your voice, why are you yelling? Oh, funny story, when I was a kid, before my voice got deeper, I was ordering pizza, and the person on the phone was like, "Ma'am, you don't have to speak so loud." The other misconception about autism is that autism is not bad. It is not so much a problem that everybody says it is. No parent wants their child's life to be harder than it has to be. And yes, autism does come with some very real challenges that do make everyday life harder. It makes achieving your dreams harder. It makes functioning harder. It makes friendships and relationships and being an adult harder. It does. But it is not a bad thing. Nothing is ever all good or all bad. And autism, at least in my opinion, does bring a lot of good. And a lot of the success that I've had in my life as a person and as a composer, as an artist, as a creative, have, I believe, come from not killing this dragon, but learning to use its fire for warmth and cooking and s'mores. My autism has given me a lot of the musical gifts that I have. For example, I struggle with linear organization, as many autistics do. Thankfully, music is non-linear, so I feel like my brain is equipped for music and my composing because it functions with non-linear organization, and that seems to be my strong suit. Another example is I can't pay attention for things for more than 30 seconds. I can't pay attention to things to save my life. It's hard to keep my attention on things for more than, say, 30 seconds to a minute at a time. Where I don't have a focusing problem is in music, and I get what's called hyperfocusing. When I sit down to write music, I can go for long periods of time. I can focus for hours and hours and hours, even without taking a break. I feel like my brain is equipped to what I want to do. I was also born with perfect pitch. What some people believe is autism's rare gift. Not every autistic person has perfect pitch, but there does seem to be a correlation of autism and music. A lot of autistic people are in music. A lot of creative people are on the spectrum, including some notable famous ones like Steven Spielberg, and even Mozart is believed to have been on the spectrum as well. I also have synesthesia, which is the ability to see color in, some people have the ability to see color in letters, some have it in numbers, I have it in music. And that is not directly related to my autism, however, studies have found a possible link to some degree between autism and synesthesia. So I feel like I am the way I am, and I am the artist, the composer, the creative I am, possibly because of my autism. Now, if you're expecting me to say, I have these challenges, I overcame them, I learned social cues, I learned social skills, I learned how to have a conversation, and therefore I'm awesome. I'm awesome! No, that is not what I'm about to say. It is still hard, even though I've come so far. It is still a challenge in everyday life. I am not defined by my disability, but it is a part of who I am, and I believe I am shaped by it, in more good ways than bad. And with this series, I want to help others succeed in life, and I want to help other autistics, as well as neurotypical people, pass on what I've learned, the skills that I've had to learn that a lot of neurotypical people seem to be born with naturally. Although yes, it is certainly good to be born with knowing basic social cues and social skills and being able to pick up on that like many neurotypical people do. Sometimes when you have to learn that stuff and aren't just born with it, you actually become better at it because of that. Sometimes in life, when you're forced to work harder than everybody else to go the same distance, you end up going further than everybody else. And I believe that everybody needs to embrace whatever their challenge is, whether it be autism or something else, and embrace what makes you different from everybody else. And that's how you go far in life. That's how you stand out. No normal person has ever achieved great things in life. Okay, that's probably not true, actually. You get what I'm trying to say. Another important thing to know about autistic people is we are not stupid. Autistic people are very smart. We are not stupid. We are not lazy. We are not making up excuses for bad behavior. We have extra challenges that neurotypical people don't have. With everything I just mentioned, with sensory issues, with anxiety, and even depression, but we are not stupid and lazy. And we are very much capable of expressing empathy and emotions, sometimes even more so than neurotypical people. Autism is not rare. The CDC has estimated that 1 in 36 children have autism. And I hear a lot of this like, back in my day, we didn't have no autism, no ADHD, you young whippersnappers. You also didn't have women with bank accounts. Just saying. So yes, there was a study published in 1970. It claimed that 1 in 10,000 children have autism. Now that's a bit different from the 1 in 36 we hear today. But the media acts as if it's this epidemic all of a sudden.
In all my years of research, I've never seen a virus reproduce this quickly.
That something is wrong, and that there is something unhealthy that is causing so many more people to have autism. But that is simply not the case. We have come so far in our research and our understanding and our ability to determine autism, to define it, to identify it. So no, the number of autistic people hasn't changed. The number of diagnoses have. The last thing I will say is autism is not a reason for anyone with it to give up on their dreams. For example, my childhood dream, was to be a composer. At age 10, I started composing music. When the rest of my family would all go to bed at night, I would stay up late composing music. I actually got 15 minutes of childhood fame. When I was 14, I won a national award for my music, the Smart Kids with Learning Disabilities Award. When I submitted my music for this award, I was too young for it, so they actually started a Junior Achievement Award just for me, and I was the very first recipient of this new award. When I was 17, I got featured in Ventura Boulevard magazine for their Top 10 Teens to Watch segment, and I was also featured in a TV show called Live Life and Win that features exceptional teens like myself.
I feel like what really defines me is my creative side. My mind is constantly overflowed with new ideas for songs and music and movies and story ideas. I'm not afraid to fail. I'm not afraid to make mistakes. I'd rather see myself fail than say, I'm just gonna quit, I'm gonna give up.
Now at 29, I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in music and also musical theater writing. Since graduating in 2020, I've written 2 musicals and I'm starting on a 3rd one. I've also been taking private music production lessons with one of my old professors, and of all of his students who have said they wanted to start a YouTube channel and start being a content creator, and he told me this himself, I was the only one of his students that actually followed through. Not only that, I came up with a comprehensive 18-page outline for my music series that's separate from this. For this series, I came up with a different brainstorm outline with over 400 ideas for different episodes. The reason I'm bringing up all of these accomplishments is not to brag or to boast or to be like, look at me, I'm awesome.
I'm awesome.
My point is that a disability doesn't have to hold you back. For anyone else with autism watching this, your autism does not have to hold you back. You can accomplish great things in spite of your obstacles, in spite of your challenges, and that goes for even those without autism watching this. Whatever your challenge is, whatever your fault, your setback is, you can't let it hold you back from accomplishing your dreams, whatever they are. And for the people here with autism, your autism does not have to hold you back. You just have to work a little bit harder. But I'll repeat what I said before. When you're forced to work harder than everybody else to go the same distance, sometimes you go further than everyone else.